Hello dear students, today we are going to talk about the play Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are Dead, written by Tom Stoppard. It is one of the plays from the theatre of absurd. It is a tragicomedy which reflects upon the absurdity of life, and it has also got elements of existentialism and realism. But before moving into the play, let's have a quick look into who Tom Stoppard is. So Tom Stoppard was born on 31st of July 1937. He was a Crèche-born British playwright, and although born in Crèche, he had to flee from there because of the Nazis ruling at that time. And as you all know that after the World War, there were writers who were writing all about the theatre of absurd and the repercussions of the wars and the modern man's dilemma. So similar themes are resonating in his works also, because he has witnessed the effects of World War, and he for longer amount of time also stayed in India, and he had his schooling done from Darjeeling, and then he settled in Britain. He has written so many important plays and so many interesting screenplays that because of his works in the theatre and in the realm of theatre, he was even awarded the title of the knighthood, or he was given the title of being a knight by Queen Elizabeth in 1997, Elizabeth II of course. And his important plays are Arcadia, The Invention of Love, The Coast of Utopia, Jumpers, of course Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are Dead, and his important screenplays are like Shakespeare in Love and Anna Karenina. So this was in a little bit about Tom Stoppard. Now let's begin with what he has to say about life and about the idea of existentialism in his play Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are Dead. So here you see this, I have the copy of Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are Dead, and there these two characters are depicted on the cover of the play, where they are shown in hiding in barrels, and this is one of the scene which has been recreated from the play itself, where Rosencrantz and Guildenstern and Hamlet plus all the players who are acting in the play, they hide in one barrel each because of the attacks of the pirates. So one of the scenes is depicted here. Now coming to the play itself. So as we have already discussed that it is an absurd play, it refers to the theatre of absurd, and it is an existential play, and it is a tragicomedy, and repeatedly it is referred to or compared with Waiting for Godot. Now why it is compared with Waiting for Godot? Then again, Waiting for Godot is a tragicomedy in 2 acts. It is one of the theatres of absurd, a drama written in the theatres of absurd, and there are 2 characters, Vladimir and Estragon, in Waiting for Godot, who keep on waiting for a man named Godot, who they are expecting to come, but Godot never comes, and throughout the play they keep on saying nobody come, nobody goes, nothing happens. Similar theme is there in Rosencrantz and Guildenstern. They both keep on passing time throughout the play till the time they die at the end of the play, and similar absurdity of human life is shown there, nothing happens. So it is also important because these 2 characters, Rosencrantz and Guildenstern, are taken from the plays of Hamlet. So of course we cannot forget Hamlet. We can say that it is through the eyes of Rosencrantz and Guildenstern, the minor characters from Hamlet, we are looking towards the broader aspect of life as a whole. So you can say the play is taking place under the realm of Hamlet, or under the eyes of Hamlet as a play. This is although a parody of Hamlet, but it never ridicules Hamlet, but it ridicules the effect of life and death on human beings. So where in Hamlet, which was a tragedy, where tragedy was or death was treated with high seriousness, Here death is ridiculed and mocked upon. Now we have to look into the theatre of absurd. Does theatre of absurd do? So theatre of absurd is generally a school of writing which is referred to or was written after World War II, which talks about the absurdity of human life. And if you have heard the name of Albert Camus and his work The Myth of Sisyphus, so absurd play takes its imagination or takes its events from the myth of Sisyphus. Because in myth of Sisyphus there is this myth that a Greek legend that a person named Sisyphus was cursed, so that every day he would roll up a boulder up the hill, and at the end of the day that boulder would come down, and then again the next day he would repeat the same process. So he kept on rolling the boulder till the end of the day, and he used to take it to the uphill on the top of the mountain, and then again by the end of the day it would roll down. That is what is happening with human life. Every day we keep on doing this mundane things, each and every day the reality of our life, we are involved or engrossed in our day-to-day activities, but at the end of the day or the next day again we are going to repeat all the same activities once again. So there is no fixed end to it, and only the end comes after the death. So only the inevitable is death itself. The ultimate reality of life is death itself. So that is the concept of theatre of absurd. Same concept is in Waiting for Godot, because they keep on waiting for Godot but Godot never comes. That is the existential philosophy of human beings. They keep on waiting for something but it never happens. Only the thing which comes at the end is death. So here Rosencrantz and Guildenstern also, like in the characters from Godot, keep on passing their time by flipping coins, by looking into the players and their plays, and talking to Hamlet, but nothing happens. Ultimately they die. At the end of the play it is announced that Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are dead. So the play is set in Denmark, and it takes up two minor characters from Shakespeare's Hamlet, as already discussed, Rosencrantz and Guildenstern. In Hamlet, Rosencrantz and Guildenstern were appointed by Claudius, who were the childhood friends of Hamlet, and they were given a letter to give it to the King of England, and in that letter it was written that Hamlet should be executed. But Hamlet somehow exchanges the letter, and ultimately it ends up in the execution of Rosencrantz and Guildenstern, because Hamlet puts the name of Rosencrantz and Guildenstern to be executed in the letter. Same happens in this play also. Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are going to talk to Hamlet. They have been given a letter from the court. Ultimately the letters are exchanged by Hamlet, and at the end of the play they die. So only the thing is that these two minor characters become the major characters here in this play, and they talk about the events from Hamlet from their perspective, from the perspective of Rosencrantz and Guildenstern. The actions of the play set under the realm of Shakespeare's Hamlet, under the wings of, we can say, Shakespeare's Hamlet. Now, this is basically the gist of the play. Coming to the details, what are the things that Rosencrantz and Guildenstern referred to? This is the play in 3 acts, and in the very opening of the act, Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are shown playing by flipping coins, or passing time by flipping coins. So every time the coin is flipped, Rosencrantz wins and Guildenstern loses, even more than 90 times. So they discuss upon what is the probability of it happening, and Guildenstern says that he never even looks towards the coins. Every time Rosencrantz flips the coin, and he claims that it is heads, and that's why he is winning. Guildenstern never even bothers to look into the coins and says that this is against the law of probability. Why? Because in law of probability there are 50-50 chances of anything to happen, but here every time Rosencrantz is winning and Guildenstern is losing. But he is not unhappy about the situation. They both have one bag each, and by flipping off each and every coin, Guildenstern's bag is becoming lesser in weight and Rosencrantz's bag is becoming heavier in weight. You see here, we can see that Guildenstern has come to terms with the fact that this is the ultimate reality of life. He further talks about the ultimate reality of life, saying that death is nothing but just like an eternal sleep, as if someone is sleeping for a longer amount of time in a box. So there is nothing to worry about death. Death is inevitable and it will come. So why bother about worldly matters? Why bother about coins? Why bother about whether he is winning or not? So let Rosencrantz fill up his bag with n number of coins as much as he wants. Guildenstern never bothers, and he says that it is all why, because there is some kind of supernatural thing which is taking place. You can call it divine intervention or you can call it will of God, whatever. So when you look towards these words by Guildenstern, it talks about the larger perspective of life, because what Theatre of Absurd claims, that ultimately death is the inevitable end. So here Guildenstern is saying that when death is the inevitable end, that is the will of God, that is the larger purpose of life of every human being. So their law of probability also defies itself, because there is no 50-50 chances of anyone living for eternity and anyone dying. Everyone has to die. Their law of probability fails. That's why he is cool, he is relaxed to the fact that Rosencrantz is winning and he is losing at every aspect. And then there are all the parts and parcels from Hamlet which is reflected here. There are the players here who are enacting plays, just like the mousetrap play in Hamlet, the play within the play. Here also there is a play within the play, but all these players enact plays which result in bloodshed and death and are ultimate tragedies. So again, the factor of death being the ultimate end is resonating, and at the end the similar thing happens. What is there in Hamlet? The letters are exchanged, Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are executed, and at the end it is narrated by a British man that Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are dead, where the play ends. So this is all about the play, which is proposed in 3 acts and is somewhere or the other similar to Waiting for Godot and Hamlet. So that was all about this play. If you have understood, then don't forget to like, share, subscribe and comment.